Have you ever been addicted to anything, and what was the work that you did to get out of it?
I've been addicted to lots of things. I have that profile of brain. I'm ADHD, which lends itself to being more prone to addiction. I was addicted to amphetamines at the age of 19. I was using amphetamines not every single day, but probably 4 or 5 days a week. I was working in security at the time, so I was working, 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. shift. So to me, it was very well justified, but that's what led to the habit. And never actually went into what I guess you'd say a formal recovery, but I took myself through a form of treatment. I started going and speaking to a psychologist and a therapist. I started, my journey on learning. And since then, I've been touched and affected by impulse control in a whole range of different areas of my life. And so for me, one of the things that I realized with addiction, a big part of addiction is impulse control. And a lot of that impulse control is around the feelings that are generated based on the idea of doing certain things, certain behaviors. I at one stage was, and still am, struggle with an addiction with this. I don't know if anyone can relate. Like, I literally have to find myself forcing myself off my phone on a regular basis. I have to sleep with my phone out of the room, okay? Because if I have it beside the bed, I know my impulse control doesn't lend itself for me not looking at it consistently, and so I put it out of the room. So I would say the biggest work that I've done has been around impulse control and around the addictive tendencies, and every single aspect of that has always come back to trauma. Some form of trauma, some traumatic event that I just didn't rationalize, regulate, resolve, that manifested into, I guess you could say a maladaptive piece of hardware. So my brain maladapted, it's different. Okay, I have a different dopamine profile to probably most other people. And so as a result, I have to be very careful when it comes to the things that, I put myself around. And so that in itself requires an enormous level of radical humility, radical honesty, and also, because to me it's not just about, I don't want to put myself around the things that cause temptation, where I have impulse control. It's for me, okay, I have a desire to do this, where's that coming from? And what is the work that I need to do in order for me to resolve the desire? Because abstinence to me is one way of treatment. But if if you find yourself in a situation where abstinence works, but then you're in a situation where the drug or the behavior, the opportunity to behave that way is present or even encouraged, then all of a sudden it gets a little bit hard, And so for me, that's where the real work is done, where you're actually looking at, okay, what is the trauma that's related to, and let's dive into that. And let's allow that trauma to come up to the surface, be regulated, be resolved, be worked through, be released, be felt. So that ultimately, and here's the thing, if anyone was to ask me, do you think addiction is a disease? I'm in two minds. I think addiction affects the brain. A maladaptive brain, in most cases doesn't, I've not read literature where they re-adapt. There's always a level of work that will have to be done. It's just the work changes depending on, what work is done.
Beautiful. Thank you.
You got it. 1, 2, 3.
Hey YouTube, thank you so much for watching this video. I would love to know in the comments below, what was your #1 takeaway? Give me a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button if you'd like to see more content like this in your feed, and share this with someone you think that it might actually help. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video.